Good evening, Aditi.
Hi, Aparna. How are you?
I'm very good. We'll just hang on for like 2 minutes, and since people are joining, maybe like 2-3 minutes more, so and we'll start the session.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Uh,
ready, Aparna.
Aditi, we are delighted to have you, and I'm so impressed that you have changed your career from academia to this innovation and management consultancy, and she has an experience in IIT Kanpur Innovation and Incubation Center, if I'm right. And she's here to, I mean, she's the right person for us to right now to guide us in the healthcare and life sciences sector. And Aditi, this session is all yours. Please educate us with all your knowledge. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Aparna. Thank you so much for having me here. I've recently joined Indian Angel Network, and I'm currently leading the program called BioAngels, which is a part India's one of its kind, public and private partnership that has happened between Indian Angel Network and BIRAC. So we'll talk more about it. Um, I hope. Actually, I wanted to run a quick poll just to get a sense of the profile of the people who are attending. I'm not sure if I think I can launch that program. Anyways, maybe with a quick show of hands, or maybe you can use chat box. I'm assuming majority of the people in the audience today are either startup founders or young young generation of professionals who want to explore entrepreneurship. If everybody could, either you know uh, give a thumbs up if you're a startup or founder, or in case you are not a startup, you could put it in the chat box so that I can align my presentation and the topic of this today's session accordingly. Okay, it's cool. So we do have incubation managers as well in the room. Hi, Mohammed Hamid. Actually, I am going to be focusing a little more on the life sciences and biotech startups, the funding opportunities, and what are some of the things founders need to take care of. Great. We also have mentors like Mr. Srinivas, who's mentor and investor of medical devices startup. I'm actually excited that we have such a diversity in our audience. Great. So we'll just wait for 2 more minutes to people keep responding. And I just, want to make sure that next 30 minutes are useful for everyone in the audience. And, you at least each one of you have a one or two critical takeaway from today's session. Please ignore some of the background noise that might come from my side. There's some, cleaning happening in my place. So yeah, please bear me with that. Hi, Tanusha. Welcome you to the session. Great. So I think I've got a sense of we have startups, we have incubation managers in the audience. We also have medical devices mentors as well. So good. I think I have accordingly aligned my presentation. So the topics which were given to me were one, what are the funding opportunities available for life sciences startups, and the other one, how to basically, raise your how to pitch, how to prepare your deck when you are raising funds from different entities. So what I will do is I will first 10 minutes, I'm going to speak about the funding opportunities. Next 10 minutes, I'll quickly walk you through some of the tips and important learnings I have had made from my past experience of, being with the startups, mentoring them, being involved in fundraising myself. So great. I'll quickly share my screen. Just give me a second. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So as I said, we will be talking about, different funding opportunities available for different biotech and life sciences startups. Some of the schemes are common for edutech startups as well, and startups working in hardware sector, clean tech, etc. So some of the schemes would be relevant to you guys as well. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the source of fundings. I will quickly introduce what I'm doing with BioAngels and Indian Angel Network, and we will not go into the Q&A, but you know, we'll go to the next part of the presentation, which is a separate presentation. So recently, in fact, I was at an event yesterday, MedTech Summit by CII, where we also had the presence of Dr. Jiten Singh, a Ministry of Science and Technology, and uh, we are seeing a lot of progressive initiatives happening in the biotech sectors, and India's bioeconomy is poised to, touch $300 trillion. And we firmly believe that Indian biotech startups are going to have a major role in contributing to achieving this number. And each one of us, be the incubation center or BioAngels, investors, academic institutions, each one of us are basically trying to, come up with different initiatives to give a boost to the biotech startups, accelerate their journey, and help with whatever resources that can be mobilized to the biotech startups. So, actually, the five type of funding scenarios that you're looking at the screen were not available, say, 10 years back, or even, as recent as 6 to 7 years ago. Because when I started my career as incubation manager, we had very few government schemes even for biotech startups. But post COVID and during COVID, we saw a lot of different communities came together to create different kind of avenues for mobilizing funding to these startups. So starting with the government schemes, just like BIREC, actually this I prepared focusing on the life sciences startups. But after I've spoken about BIREC, there are other agencies like DST, MITI, etc., who are catering to non-biotech startups as well. And the quantum of funds are very good. But coming to BIREC, so BIREC has actually tried to cover each aspect of the different stages or phases an entrepreneur goes through when they are when they're trying to build a biotech venture. So they have schemes which are fellowship based, which are as low as 60,000 rupees. Then they would have early ideation stage schemes like BIG, which are worth 50 lakh rupees, after which help you actually develop your minimum viable prototype, followed by some preliminary validations either in lab or with your potential end users or field trials. So 50 lakh rupees help you cross that stage. After that, BIREC is also providing equity based seed schemes like BIREC Seed and BIREC Leap, which are 30 and 50 lakh rupees, again equity based schemes. which help you do initial trials with your end users. If you are in health tech or med tech space, then Birect Seed and Birect Leaf Fund helps you do, say, first phase of clinical trials. Or in case your device does not require clinical trial, it's a class A device, then it would help you do some validation, large-scale validation studies with 1 or 2 hospitals, obtain some product compliance certificates like IEC, ISO, and so on so forth. We also have schemes like SIBRI and CRS, which basically facilitate crosstalk between academia and industry. So through SIBRI and CRS, academia would collaborate with an industry partner to work on something which has high commercialization potential. Under SIBRI, startups can also apply, and this is a matching fund wherein Birect supports up to 50% of the total project cost, or 50 lakh rupees, whichever is lower, and the remaining has to come from the startup. That can come through, again, any other investor or founder's own contribution. And then we have BIPP, wherein the quantum of the funds are not set aside, but I have seen startups getting up to 3 to 4 CR easily through BIPP. BIPP helps you launch your product in the market, or if you have already launched your product, but you need to either enter into a different sales channel, or you are exploring different customer segment. So all that can be supported under BIPP. And as I said, the Birect has, a wide range of funds that they have set aside to help startups at different stages. The fund reaches 60,000 to 3 CR, and some of their schemes are only valid for students, while others are valid for startups, whereas schemes like BIG, they're open to all. So that ways, I think Birect has done in last almost 11 years a good job establishing the initial funding ecosystem for life sciences startups. Uh, as I was saying, we have several schemes from MITI. We have the scheme called Tide MVP and Tide GTM, which Tide MVP would give you 7 lakh rupees grant money, primarily to develop your prototype and do some initial validation if at all possible, and followed by they have a go-to-market fund as well, which ranges between 10 to 20 lakh rupees. And all these schemes are usually managed through different incubation centers. So you can just go to DST website, you can go to MITI's website and you can have a look at all these Tide centers. Just hold on a second, I'll be back. Extremely sorry, guys. I had to step away for 2 minutes. Yeah, so I was saying, apart from government schemes and there are several schemes from the Department of Science and Technology, DST, like Nidhi Prayas, Nidhi EIR, which also provides support for prototype development, fellowship. Nidhi Seed is again equity-based funding, which is available. So you can check all those details at DST website. There are funding from corporates and through CSR is something which was there, but it emerged quite rapidly during COVID and post-COVID, when we saw corporates coming together to support every project which was catering to COVID-related solutions. And now IIT Delhi runs this program with Pfizer, which focuses on helping these startups develop their prototype. They also give a small amount to file your patents. So this is one of its kind of, CSR partnership between incubation center and a corporate. CCAM similarly also runs several accelerator program with Carbex. So the incubation centers partner with corporates in different capacities. If there are several corporates which run accelerator programs, so the incubation center would become their partner to source these startups and help them, mentor them. And that's what you have seen with Pfizer as well. In other cases, corporates tend to set aside some portion of their CSR funds primarily to help these startups in deploying their solutions on field. And this is what you would see on the right side of the screen, like Bajaj Entrepreneurship Program and the, Mission Oxygen, Mission Bharat O2 program, which was done by IIT Kanpur. And please feel free to put your questions in the chat box, or you may, unmute yourself and ask the question. I'm perfectly all right either ways. Just okay. Let's like. Give me a second, please. I think my keys are not working. Just a second. And continuing on the same example of corporate coming together for conducting startup accelerator program, Merck also does this program. Then Illumina and Siemens run their own independent program for startup accelerator, where they would not only be infusing early money to help the startup, but they would also mobilize their own resources in terms of infrastructure, technical know-how to the startup, which would basically help help them to accelerate their product development and validation journey. Okay, I am extremely sorry, guys. I don't know why my system keeps hanging. Yeah. So apart from the government and the
Aditi, sorry to disturb. If that's okay,
Yeah.
you can share it with me and I can share your presentation.
Okay.
Have any issue.
I'll do that in case my system hangs again.
Sure.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Aparna. So apart from government and the corporates, we also have angel investors, which basically, come in at a very early stage, wherein either the startup is in the process of developing this solution, or has made early functional prototype or working model, but needs, a larger round of funds in the tune of, say, a CR or 2 CR or 3 CR. That's where the angel investors would come into play. And so I am currently representing Indian Angel Network, which happens to be India's one of the largest angel network, wherein we have created an exclusive network of high net worth individuals, investors who are bullish about the startup ecosystem. They understand the risks and the rewards associated with investing in startups, but also have, expertise in, say, business operations, logistics, marketing, etc., so that they not only help the startup with their money, but also mentor them throughout their early stage of product development, deployment, commercialization. And after that, you would see, so that the startup become VC ready. The stage at which, angel investors come into picture, the startup is still, figuring it out, the go-to-market strategy, the business model. Things would not have taken a proper shape when when an angel investor comes into picture. And that's the reason they're called angels, because they do a lot of heavy lifting, in the sense of giving the required fund to the startup, mentorship, and becoming an additional pair of hands and brain, and opening their network to the startup. So Indian Angel Network actually has a history of being into existence for 16 years now, and we have invested in more than 230 startups. Out of them, although very small, but we have made very impactful investments in biotech related sectors like healthcare, medical devices. We do have 3 to 4 companies in agri-tech space. And after realizing after seeing the success of these biotech startups, Indian Angel Network last year launched Bio Angels in partnership with Biorec to create a biotech sector focused angel network to help these startups working in biotech sector, providing the required amount of funds and also the expertise. As most of you would understand, biotech, unlike other sectors, is very difficult. The gestational periods are longer, the capital required is very high. Even before commercialization or becoming a revenue earning startup, you would see high valuations of these startups coming into picture. So these are some of the trends and matrices which are not usually seen in other sectors. Hence, biotech, becomes a difficult terrain for regular investors to chart into. Hence, we are creating Bio Angels to bring, a group of people who believe in biotech community, who believe in biotech startups, have the background in medical devices, agriculture, clean tech, etc., and can support the startup with the required support, both financial and non-financial. And I have already spoken about Indian Angel Network, so I will skip this slide. And these are some of our biotech related investments that we have made in last 16 years. In fact, some of them are actually, unicorns, like Fool, Pandorum Technologies, and some of them are progressing towards becoming unicorn. So apart from the angel investors, we also have loans being given by Technology Development Board. SIDBI has a scheme called TIFAX region, which give loan primarily for setting up of your manufacturing plant, augmenting your manufacturing capacity. And we are also seeing banks like SBI, ICI Securities coming up with a dedicated startup schemes for providing either reduced interest rate on the loan or collateral free loan. So such progressive steps are being taken care by banks as well. And then we have a plethora of VCs like India Partners, Ankur Capital, Omnivore, Chirate, Eight Roads, Sequoia Capital, who come into picture with a larger check in the range of 10 to 12, 15 CR and even more. So yeah, these are some of the funding opportunities each startup would tap onto depending upon what model they are working on, who are their primary customers. So it's not always mandatory that a startup needs to raise fund from a VC or from an angel investor. It is not at all mandatory. It's not mandatory to have been supported through one or the other government grant. It totally depends what you are creating, whom you are catering, and which is the best strategy that works out for you to become a profitable and sustainable business. So we don't have one size fits all or one has any question, we can take that question. And we have room for covering one or two questions before I move on to the other presentation of how to raise funds. I think Saraj has a question. Saraj, you can actually unmute yourself and ask the question.
No, I don't think he can unmute. Give me 1 second, I'll unmute
it. Sure. What is mode of funding from Atal Incubation Centers? Saraj, where you based? So AICs have different schemes as well. Now, Atal Incubation Centers, you would see them having SFS scheme, having Nidhi Prayas. So different AICs running on it, different mode altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, Saraj.
So which AI? Do they have a dedicated fund? For example, DST has a Nidhi Prayas and stuff.
I don't think so. They do, but I am aware that AIC CCMB has its own funds available that they invest in, institutional capacity. But I'm not aware. That might not be true for every other AIC as well. As I said, different AICs have different parties to support the startup. And actually, I'm putting my email ID chat box. If any one of you have any follow-up question, feel free to write to me. If you are someone, and as part of Bio Angels, we invest in early stage biotech startups. Our ticket size has a range of 50 lakh rupees, goes up to 8 CR, but our average ticket size would be in the range of 2 to 4 CR. So if if you're an early stage startup wherein either you have built the prototype or are building prototype, have some pre-revenues in place, etc., we'd be happy to get over a call and discuss it. Hi Krishnan, you can please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Krishnan, you can talk now.
Okay. Hi, Didi. Actually, my sister, cousin sister, both are doing their bio education. but they are wishing to start a startup with idea in bio-related. But they are students, so they asked me to participate here, and they asked me to ask any seed fund opportunity for them. Because when they are students, they need some kind of seed fund to test their idea, just create of some kind of initial prototype and testing thing. So they're looking some seed funds.
If it's the students who are looking for seed fund, you may try.
I mean, one sister is doing her PhD, another one is doing her
I'm not
bioscience.
sure, sir, if I'm understanding your question correctly.
Hmm.
Can you please put it in the chat box, sir? If
Okay, maybe my okay. Let me post. I will.
தமிழ்ல என்கிட்ட சொல்லுங்க நான் translate பண்றேன்.
Hi. Yeah.
Aditya, I can translate whatever he asked.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aparna. Meanwhile, I'll take this question from Saurabh. I don't have a prototype in bio, but in HR training. See, if you're trying to build something for paramedic staff or nursing staff, then certainly it can be covered under bio angels. Otherwise, we'd be happy to look at your innovation from Indian Angel Network.
Madam, நான் பேசலாமா?
பேசுங்க.
இல்ல எனக்கு எனக்கு இன்னொரு கெஸ்ட் தான். அவங்க ஒருத்தர் பிஹெச்டி பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க, இன்னொருத்தர் பேச்சுலர் டிகிரி இன் பயோ சயின்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அவங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் சம் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்டார்ட் அப் ஐடியா இருக்கு, பயோ ரிலேட்டட் தான். ஸோ அவங்க ட்ரீட் பண்ண எதிர்பார்க்குறாங்களா? ஸோ டெஸ்ட் தயர் ஐடியா, இன்ஸ்டியூல் ஐடியாவை டெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறது சம் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ட்ரீட் பண்ண எதிர்பார்க்குறாங்கிற மாதிரி சொன்னாங்க. அது எங்கிட்ட இந்த மீட்டிங்ல கேட்க சொன்னாங்க.
Sure. So Aditi, he wants to know that if you will give a seed fund for a startup that's just in an ideation stage.
From BioAngels, no, because yeah, it would be very, very difficult for us just to bet on the team. Although we focus a lot on the team, who are the founders, their background and everything, but just on an idea, it would be very difficult. In that case, that startup can actually explore some schemes like Nidhi EIR or Tide EIR or Biodesign Innovation Fellowship, such other programs.
Aditi, maybe we can use this platform to say what kind of a pitch you require for, maybe we can plan on a pitch session coming in the forthcoming days with Startup TN. So what is your expectation and what kind of a pitch are you expecting? Maybe you can tell the people now about that.
Yeah. So if I talk about BioAngels, we look at a startup which is in the range of prototype development up to up to commercialization, and sometimes even beyond commercialization as well. So that is the range of our range of eligibility criteria for a startup, like an entry point. I am not sure if audience is aware about technology readiness level. So in terms of TRL, we are okay looking at as low as tier consider to look at the startup. If I talk about an agri-tech, agri-machinery startup, then again a working model needs to be in place. If we are looking at a drug discovery startup, then some initial validation hinting to supporting evidences of 2 to 3 lead molecules. If we are looking at a startup in the diagnostic space, so then some then also some higher accuracy level of, say, anything above 90 to 95% of accuracy is something we knew. That becomes a strong point for us to look at the startup more positively. But we don't use revenue as one of the markers. Then we would say, how many partnerships the startup has in place, what is the market size, how big is the TAM, because unlike government, the member base of our investors, they are looking to, make a return at least out of, 2 to 3x return from their investment. So the market size needs to be of a decent size. We tend to decline startups working in niche area. But again, nothing written as, Bible words. It varies from case to case. What is the disease being targeted by the startup? So all these, and of course, a very we look at the team very strong, or if the founder has managed to bring people with relevant technical and business expertise, that stands very strongly in the favor of the startup. Bioethanol, again, I say it has a huge potential, considering there is a mandate from government. Everyone across the globe is trying to come up with cleaner solutions for the environment, especially in the mobility space. So yes, the market potential is huge. It would depend on two things: what is it that you are doing differently, and how scalable your solution is, how easily can it be. Great. Aparna, would you like me to add anything more?
Yeah, maybe we can go ahead, fix the time, like when we can have another pitch session. So I can go ahead and put a social media campaign saying that this is what BioAngels expects. And if you have a pitch related to so and so, then maybe you can register with us. That's something we can do. And Shivram has something to
Yeah.
ask you.
So we have developed APIs and biosimilars, how to apply for funding. Shivram, depending upon how much you are looking to raise. So again, one more thing, uh, you know, a tip or a suggestion we give to startups who are even raising from us is to have your calculations done year-wise or month-wise. Just, do not approach anyone that you are looking to raise 10 crore rupees or 20 crore rupees without having a backup explanation of why you need that quantum of money, how long is it gonna last you, and uh, how far will this money take you in terms of product readiness and commercialization. So it depends at which stage you are at. Shivram, I have already shared my email ID. We can connect, separately as well. If you're looking to apply to BioAngels, then you can check out our website, bioangels.vc, and you can simply apply through that, or you can drop me an email sharing your pitch deck. Related to health tech, can you share process and steps for funding? It's actually, it's a very generic question, but from my past experience of dealing with several being a class A or class B device, usually your again, depending upon the science you are using, if you're using nanotechnology or if you're using AI and other complicated emerging technologies and tools to build your solution, viable prototype, your MVP, because you're gonna speak to the doctors, you're gonna have at least 3 to 4 people to, get the hands dirty and build the solution and all those things. So, and then in order to conduct the clinical validation study, you would need to have at least 20 to 30 units in place, which can be deployed in the hospital. So another 1 CR for that. Then if you're going ahead for clinical trials, before that, you would need certifications in place, some basic electrical mechanical safety. So good 40,000-50,000 rupees for that. That means, it is a long conversation. Maybe I don't want to bore the others in the audience. We can connect offline and I'd be happy to help you.
Yeah. Hi, Aditi. This is Gautam.
Hi.
Working as project lead for incubation initiatives at Startup TN. This forum holds, a number of incubation centers, the CEOs and the managers here. And in Tamil Nadu, we have some 20 to 25 incubators specifically work on the biosector. There are, several non-BIRAC supported incubators who support bio startups through their self-funding as well. So how BioAngels are working with the incubators, either in terms of, other than investments, in terms of, the knowledge sharing aspects,
Yes.
or how to source leads from them actually?
Great, Gautam. Thanks for asking this question. We're just 1 year old, and I am constantly partnering with several incubation centers, not only for sourcing the startups, but I myself, coming from biotech background, being in this space, we realize there are several lacunae, existing gaps which need to be filled. And as a part of the whole community, and biotech fraternity, we are partnering with different incubation centers to conduct several capacity building workshops as well, because you would also understand that as an incubation manager, you need to have the thought process of investors also known to you. What is it that investors look for? What are the things which are, a turn off for the investor? But so such kind of knowledge sessions and capacity building is also something we are doing and we are open to.
Okay, great. You have one from Mr. Krishnan.
Yeah, it makes sense to reach you with a prototype. I hope it makes sense by showing it. But apart from funding, would you have any platform for general helps that? No, we don't have any such platform. Actually, this is something where incubation centers play a huge role, Krishnan. And these days, majority of the biotech startups are associated with one or the other incubation center. And that's how people like Gautam, etc. would help you. Quickly. So
Okay.
actually, I had one more presentation, Abana. I will, quickly run through it in next
Yes.
3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
Basically, I just wanted to, highlight how to pitch your product, your startup to different type of stakeholders you are going to meet and interact with during your journey.
Great. That was going to be my next question, Aditi. Thank you so much. Yeah, please.
So I think there's someone, ours is a pharma expiry management solution provider startup. How can you support? If you're looking to raise funds, please drop an email to me. But in case your ask is something beyond money, then would be happy to, catch up with you for a
If
short.
anything is beyond money, they can contact Startup Tea and we can
Yes, yes.
connect with the proper people.
Correct.
Yeah.
So since I hope my screen is visible and I really hope my system doesn't hang anymore.
Yeah.
Do you see a blank screen or do you see a slide on the screen?
Oh, black screen.
Black screen, no? Cool. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Aditi, it is.
Great. So, this is a session which I took a year ago. Again, the topic was how to pitch your solution, your startup. So, I've interacted with several startups who are not sure what to cover in their pitch deck, how much to cover, how to take care of the elevator pitch, how to, pitch your startup in 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes versus 30 minutes, all those things. So these are some of the broad topics which I have seen startups struggling around. So let's just quickly decode your pitch deck. You're going to have a core which would, cover who you are, which basically talks about your team. What is it that you are trying to solve, why you're solving, and how you are solving. So these are the 4 core points which you need to cover in your pitch deck, irrespective of whom you are talking to. I will talk about the different stakeholders you are gonna interact with during your journey. So who covers your team? What covers your problem statement, also hinting towards the market size, why you are solving it, again caters partially to the market size and the unmet need in the country, or if the existing solutions are not fulfilling that particular problem or the gap, you are coming in to fill that gap. And you will briefly cover about your competitors, how competitors are existing competitors are inefficient in solving that particular problem, and how it basically talks about your own product, your own innovation. Team, problem statement, market size, competitors, and your solution. These are 5 important aspects that you always should have as part of your pitch deck. Then we talk about the outer layers, which would, add more depth to the points that you have covered in your as a part of your core. So if we talk about the outer layers, you are going to cover business model, what type of business model you're going to have, either B2B or B2C. We are also seeing hybrid models as well, like B2B to C, B to G to B, and all such permutations and combinations in place. Apart from just, listing it, you need to also identify who are your first customers, how are you going to tap on to them. So business model along with your go-to-market strategy. How are you actually going to penetrate into the businesses you are trying to pitch to? Competitor analysis, a very detailed and exhaustive competitor analysis spread across affordability or in terms of tech specifications. So that needs to be there. Revenue projections is something which basically talk about your business making potential in next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. How larger, how bigger can you take your venture to? So basically your business numbers from business model will feed into your revenue projections. Market size again is divided into 3 segments: TAM, SAM, SOM. So you need to identify how much of the total market actually you can cater to depending upon your business model. Then it is very, very important to do a customer and an end user landscape, it's not necessary that the end user will always be the customer, and vice versa. IP details, if you have patent granted, patent filed, countries covered, all those details, with a very strong emphasis on the sustainability development goals, SDG goals, and the economic development goals, EDG goals. We are seeing startups including, a brief on which SDG goal this innovation is focusing on, and how much impact will they be able to create in next 3, 4, or 5 years, and what is the ask? What is it that you're asking from the person listening to you, and how do you plan to achieve it? So coming to your different stakeholders you're going to pitch to. So if you're an early stage startup, you often pitch to an incubation center. Majority of the science and technology based incubation centers will have technical committee people in the evaluation panel. So you need to focus more on your technology. How is it better? What different are you trying to do? Your patent details, competitor landscape, and how the incubation center is going to help you in achieving your milestones. What are your next milestones for next 2 years or 3 years? Because 2 to 3 years is a general incubation period you would see. Coming to the investors, it is very good to keep the tech part of the product minimum. Again, depends. If now there are sector focused investors also come into picture. Like if you're an agri startup and if you're pitching to Omnio, they would also they would love to delve deeper into your tech details. And likewise at BioIndrals, we also love to understand the science part, and then we come to the numbers. So it depends what is the profile of your investor. But apart from the product details, we usually look for what is your business model, how scalable that business model is, how is the team, can they achieve that scale, what is the market size, how much return can we expect, and in what time frame. Because some solutions, yeah, so we look at all these details. Then you would be pitching to government funding agencies like BIREC, DST, ICMR. So you need to have both product details as well as your ask financial details, some extensive calculation. Like if you're asking for a certain set of equipment, you need to have those details. So basically a balance of both product and financial details. If you're approaching to bank for loan, then to be honest, bank doesn't care about what you're building. All they care about is how easily you can recover, you can repay the loan. So they are going to focus a lot on your assets, your financial details, and all those things. And sometimes you also this is a slightly interesting topic. So majority of the startups tend to send cold emails to different stakeholders. So if you are sending out those cold emails, then you need to stick to the core, keep it concise, and just maybe talk a little about your revenue projection so that it can entice the person you are approaching. Then you also need to pitch to your potential customers. So there you talk about the product features and the price, because if you are selling in India, then India is a very, very price sensitive market. So you are going to focus. They don't care about your revenue projections, etc. They will only be worried more on the price part and what is it that you're offering on the table. That is it. And one last tip for the startups. Basically, I've seen startups stressing on number of slides and all those things. I feel it's just a number. It depends how you speak, how you want to build your story. rehearse well. And some of the tools that I use for creating presentation is PowerPoint, Google Slides, Canva. And while you're pitching your startup, while you're pitching your product, everything boils down to how you pitch yourself. How do you sell yourself? If you can sell your conviction, if you can sell your vision to the people, they will come aboard irrespective of what you're building. With that, I will stop. And I see there are few questions in the chat box, so I'll take those. Is there any device to convert bioagriculture waste into bioenergy material? There are several startup. I am not sure if there's already an existing device per se, but some bioprocess methods are being worked upon, not just in India but across the world, to solve different type of agriculture waste is getting converted into value-added product. Cool. We have another 5 minutes to cover Q&A. If anyone else in the room has a question, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask it.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're audible, please.
Hello.
சொல்லுங்க சார், கேக்குது.
Is there is any device, I am Mr. Khaja Nazimuddin, Deputy Director of Agriculture, retired Colonel Valley.
Yes, sir.
Yes, there is any device to convert agriculture waste into energy material? Is there is any investment opportunities for that?
Investment opportunities, certainly, yes, sir. But I am not aware if there's any startup who has developed any such device.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, maybe the last one is for you, Aparna, if people can get the recording of the session.
Yeah, I can send them the recording of the session. If anybody wants to ask anything else, please raise your hands and I can unmute you. So for the audience to know, we are going to have an MOU signed with BioAngels, and we will be having exclusive sessions for our startups to directly pitch with BioAngels, and we are working on it. Soon we'll be having the announcement of that pitch sessions. Yes, Aditi?
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then we can wind up with that. If nobody has anything else, please tell something about equity shares.
Okay,
We can wind up with this question. Kavita has asked that.
Kavita, can you is it possible to have yourself unmuted, because this is again a very deep topic. If you could be a little more elaborate what exactly you want to know about equity shares, maybe I can quickly answer you.
I'm not able to find Kavita. Okay.
Yeah, but
I have unmuted.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this is Kavita. Actually, I have started with an incubation center, but I want to know which model I have to fit into and how to select the equity shares with them, that model which we have to fit in.
I might not be the right person to answer this question, Kavita.
Kavita, you can maybe call up to Startup TN office, or you can email to incubators@startuptn.in, and people in Startup TN will be able to help you with that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. But just to answer your question, there are several incubation centers which are now operating on hybrid model, in the sense they would be charging some monthly fees to the startup, as well as they would be charging some percentage of equity. Usually that range is in the range of 1 to 5 to, in few cases I've seen 8% as well. But now those days are gone where someone would, shed such a high number of equity primarily in the lieu of incubation service. So yeah.
Ma'am, this is Shivram from Swim Biopharma.
Yes.
Ma'am, as you said, we are startup into the space of APIs and biosimilars. So APIs we have developed, which are ready to market. We just need the funding to buy the equipments. We have ready customers, technology, everything we have. Only thing is we need the infrastructure to produce and market it. And we don't have a proper pitch deck, as you said. We have only a very basic format of the pitch deck. So if we want to have a more detailed conversation with you, where can we come? How to meet?
Please drop me an email and we'll set up a meeting.
Sure. Thanks, ma'am.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Aditi, for your time. We'll soon connect with the next session, the next session. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye. Have
Bye.
a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you all. We'll connect in the next session. Aditi, you can leave. It's okay. Yeah. Thank you.